Chaotically Nerdy is made by nerds for nerds. This podcast is made by adults for adults and children with bad parents. Adult language will be used and adult situations may arise. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Chaotically Nerdy. On today's episode is me, Tyler, and...
Me, Jarrett.
And...
Me, Ethan.
Hey. And on today's episode, wildly, we're going to talk about Ant-Man, which has been out on Disney+. Today is...
Like 3 weeks?
June 11th, so yeah, roughly
weeks?
3 weeks, something like that.
Yeah.
I watched it the day it came out and have not looked back since, so we're going to figure out how much I remember from it.
I feel like it's a good idea to wait till after it comes out on Disney Plus to talk about it on the podcast here.
Because that allows people time to see.
Because there's so many people who don't go to the theater anymore.
Yeah.
They just wait till it comes out on the streaming program they're already paying for.
This way, not a video podcast. Have my hand up. I very, very rarely go to the theater.
Yeah.
It's just how movies are supposed to be watched.
I agree, but it's a time thing for me.
I know.
I have 2 kids now.
That's why I'm not mad at you. People are like, I just will never go to theater. I'm like,
no, I prefer to go to the theater, honestly. Yeah. Like, especially if you go to like
It's a different experience.
a nice theater.
Yeah, if you go
not
to a
our
nice,
not our shithole.
Yeah, if you go to a nice theater that's got the recliners, fuck, dude,
It's so good.
yeah.
It's like it combines home and theater.
It's perfect. The only problem is whenever you go watch something like Barbie and you hear all the fucking people fucking because they're like, ooh, Margot Robbie, and their wives are like, ooh, Ryan Gosling, we should fuck.
That's not awkward.
Listen, I seen a meme.
Is this like a thing between you and your wife?
No, I seen a meme the other day about a guy beating off to Margot Robbie in Barbie.
Oh no,
it was weird.
yeah.
It sounds it.
Yeah. But I'm sure there's people that will do it,
I guarantee it.
preferably in their own home.
In the theater?
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised at that either.
no, it would not at all.
Especially at our local AMC in Poplar Bluff. That place is kind of sticky sometimes.
You think it was sticky? Go to Dexter.
It's not so bad anymore in Dexter.
It may not be.
They keep it cleaner than it used to be, but
Gotcha. All right, let's get into this shit. The overall thoughts of the movie, The Dice. Jarrett, what did you think about it? Did you like it? Did you hate it?
Neither. It's okay. It's an okay film that I think it was probably a good movie until the third act. I like the first 2/3 of the movie more than I like the latter third. That I feel like they just kind of
Rushed.
and I'll get into it. Apparently there were some rewrites that I think shouldn't have been rewritten. But yeah, it's a fine movie.
Now, with that being said, because I feel like Ethan's going to shit on it, me and you are easier to please with movies as well. Because I agree with that it was an okay movie. There was things in it that I was like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
There's so much so that I put notes in my phone that I didn't put on here because I was like, it's not worth bringing up. Like, it's worth bringing up to talk about it for a brief second, but not try to make a whole segment about it.
don't make a deal about it.
Yeah. So since I agree with Jarrett that it's an okay movie, what do you think of it, Ethan?
I think it's about the same. It's okay. Actually, honestly, I think it's a very entertaining movie. I think it has a lot of problems, but so do most movies.
Yeah. Well, I was wrong. He didn't shit on it as much as I thought he
I
would.
think it's a really entertaining movie that I don't want to watch again.
There are a lot of movies that I just don't.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that was good. I'll never watch it again.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, there's a lot of movies that I do that too.
I'm probably never going to watch like Black Widow again.
No.
I will never watch that again. That much I know. There's actually most of Phase 4 I probably won't watch again. Unless one of the kids is like, let's watch all of the Marvel movies. That's the only one. That's a lot.
There's one I could probably watch again, Phase 4, though. I have to agree. It's like No Way Home. That's probably the only one I would watch again. So I have to agree. Phase 4.
That's probably the only one I would watch. I would never willingly put one on. Like, if it's on TV and I turn it on, that's a different story. But that's because most of the time if it's on TV, I'm not really paying attention to it.
It's there for background noise.
Yeah. Next up, did you enjoy the jokes? Because I thought they were corny as fuck for a big chunk of them.
Kind of.
Ethan.
I mean, they're okay.
Some of them were good.
Some of them were good.
But
some of them weren't good.
it felt like they were batting 150. They were doing real shit. Most of the jokes did not work for me.
I'd say 200. I like Paul Rudd, though.
Yeah,
I always like Paul Rudd. But I don't know. There were some that felt really flat that I didn't realize were jokes at first. That's why I wanted to watch it again.
maybe that's my problem.
I was like, that was supposed to be funny. It's not good.
Maybe that's my problem is that I missed situations like that.
Yeah. But that wouldn't bring the batting average up any. So
No. Jarrett, did you... I heard you kind of say that they were okay.
Again, some of them were funny. Some of them where I'm like, roll my eyes, like, okay, well, let's move on. I don't think it was as bad as
Ragnarok.
Well,
I mean, Thor,
Yeah.
Love and Thunder,
Yeah.
where that one has just like it's a joke.
Love and Thunder. That's what I'm thinking.
Every
Love
2
and Thunder.
seconds,
yeah.
where some of those probably has a larger more jokes that land, but like the percentage is smaller because they shove in so many more jokes.
Well, one of the jokes that bothered me, and
is it don't be a dick?
no, that didn't bother me.
I know people.
It's whenever they look at the guy that looks like broccoli, and just walking by and they're like, that guy looks like broccoli, and that's supposed to be a joke.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, he looks like broccoli. Who gives a fuck? Move on.
We can see that.
That's...
Unless you're blind watching the movie. I mean...
And if that's the case...
You're not watching the movie. You're listening to it.
Yeah. And at that point, I mean, you got enough going on. Why are you watching a movie? Read it.
You can't read.
Have somebody braille.
I guess so. That's more like feeling. You're feeling the movie.
Feel the movie.
Feel the movie.
I like braille captions.
Well, I was thinking more like just get a script. And,
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't think that works.
I feel like that's the only way that, I mean, besides listening to it. But
Okay.
I feel like that's the best way to enjoy a movie if you were, I would assume. I don't know, not blind.
Legally, I'm blind.
Legally, I was. And then next up is, was it paced too slow? Because this movie felt, I know it was like 2.5 hours. Anyway, it was pretty long. But it felt like a 4-hour movie when I watched it.
I think it's just slow. It's just paced slow, but until the end, which
That feels like a commonality between most of the Phase 4 movies, though.
yeah, pacing's a little wonky on some of them.
Yeah.
On
At least it
most
wasn't
of
as
them.
bad as Black Panther.
Yeah, Black Panther was terribly
That
paced.
was really, really
It's a
rough.
slog.
Yeah. I think it was paced a little bit slow.
Next up, I had wrote, from con man to book sales. I meant to put from con man to con man, but I knew if I wrote that, I would not remember what he was conning people out of. Because he just changed his con to, I'm just going to start selling books.
Yeah, but that's like
Well, he views himself as a hero now.
he is a hero.
I mean, he is
No,
a
but I
hero,
mean,
but-
the point is that he views himself as a hero.
well, at this
Worthy
point,
of the praise.
Sure.
at this point, he's probably not that much of a hero.
No, he is. He literally helped
was
save
a
the
hero.
save
He
the world.
was a hero. There's a difference.
Well, I think that's pretty common in a lot of literature type stuff, right? Like they'll get like this con man who makes it, and they stop conning people. That's
Yeah.
pretty common in literature.
I did think it was funny. Again, I'm just reading off the notes. That Cassie went to jail immediately as soon as we seen her, or like was in jail because she was getting out of jail.
You think it was supposed to be a parallel?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it is,
I mean,
and I appreciated it.
like you have like father, like daughter.
That's literally what I have wrote down because she was very much like him in that situation. Also, the next note, because y'all can read it, I put it teaches us to just talk about your fucking problems because a majority of superhero movies or movies in general have this problem where if somebody would just discuss what the fuck is going on, Like,
I call it CW syndrome, where you just don't you don't talk about your
you
problems.
don't talk about your
You don't
problems
talk at all.
and you don't talk about why you shouldn't do something. Because if the mom, I can't remember her name, if she would have just said,
Which mom? Hope or not Hope?
not
Janet?
Hope, but yeah, Janet. If she would have just said, like, hey, this is what's in the quantum realm. We don't need to do this. We need to avoid this. And, like, said, like,
Yeah.
there's this really bad guy. Could have stopped Cassie from doing that shit. Could have just.
Literally, the most frustrating thing in the movie is her just not opening up to tell people what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, I can't tell you. I can't tell you.
And then you look at like the actual logistic reason is probably because they didn't think that they didn't know when they filmed the second one that she would be connected to Kang in a way in the quantum realm. So that's why we have to do all this in the third movie.
I mean,
Yeah, but still, when the problem comes up, she should have been like, here's the information.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And
not logical.
Do you think that realistically, if you were gone for 30 something years, which however long the quantum realm time was, you would come back and be like, yeah, there's some really bad shit down there. We need to not go that because all of them are scientists. They're all going to be like, let's fucking go. Besides Scott. He's the only one that's like, oh, just go wherever. Fuck it.
It's in the quantum realm. It'd be fine. Nothing bad ever happens in the
It's
quantum
so small.
so
Also,
small.
the quantum realm was just a smaller version. Like, didn't it say, this is me trying to remember the movie, but didn't it basically treat Earth like its own universe versus the quantum realm?
Yeah,
so
kinda.
wouldn't that technically make Earth its own quantum realm for the rest of the universe?
It's kind of confusing. You're getting like multiple.
Yeah, the multiverse stuff is
Yeah.
confusing. Let's not go there. But yes, you are correct.
Okay.
It is somehow it's like a new
And
universe.
you were wrong.
It's a new universe inside of our universe
Yep.
at a subatomic level.
But we would be.
It's weird. I'm not saying it's not. It's like weird.
Where does it end?
It doesn't.
Doesn't like theoretically
That's
is
the
there
point
not
of
is
it.
there not a quantum realm probably
It
beyond?
does end.
I mean, it does, I guess, but
I mean, there probably is a quantum. Like, the broccoli guy has probably been to their quantum realm. I'm just going to keep referring to the broccoli guy because why
Well,
not?
it's fine. Yeah.
He's one of the only alien ones that stuck out to me besides the Infinity Stones. So this is a new thing I'm going to start adding to our PG-13 movies whenever we talk about them.
Mm-hmm.
Where would you drop the F-bomb?
hang on, I'm thinking. It's definitely gonna be something Hank says. It's definitely gonna be that because he's just the crotchety old man. He just drops the F-bomb casually.
That makes sense.
Either that or MODOK.
Oh, or it might be like Cassie, like, don't be a fucking dick or something like.
Yeah.
Just like that's an easy place to put it.
That is an easy place to put it. I really...
But you definitely want it somewhere like
This is bad, but I think it
you
would-
haven't seen Guardians, right?
No, I've not
They
seen
have the
that.
first F bomb.
Yes.
and it's just in the middle of the movie. Out, like,
Yeah, it's the
random.
door scene.
Yeah,
Open the fucking door.
It's just
I've-
randomly for no reason. So definitely something in that vein of like just somewhere you don't expect to drop an F bomb.
I see, and to me,
Makes it funnier.
it makes it funnier, but it also makes me want to put it at the broccoli guy. Because even though I hate that joke, that
It could have been in the scene
guy's
with.
a fucking piece of broccoli.
It could have been in the scene with all the copies of Ant-Man, and like they screw it up, and they go, "Oh fuck!" Just something small like that.
As they
right?
start falling,
Or
the
ba-
you just
or-
have one.
No, it's when the Baskin Robbins guy
Yeah.
shows up. He's like, what are you fucking doing here?
That would have been great.
There you go.
Easily the best scene in the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Just like, what?
What?
Why?
That's great.
It was so loopy.
It was weird as shit. I will give you that. What? Okay, this is the other thing. They talk about Cassie having a suit so early in the fucking movie. Why did she not use it for... she waited an hour into the movie before she used a suit. And that's at least. I'm just guesstimating. It's been 3 weeks since I've watched it.
I don't.
But he, like, before they even get to the quantum realm, they mention that she has a suit
Yeah, in the car ride
at dinner.
or dinner, same, like literally the next scene.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming it's just because she's just not very experienced with it. Because obviously the whole point of the middle part of the movie is her fucking trying to learn how to use a suit
I mean, yeah, but
and trying how to shrink and grow.
at the same time, if you're running away,
yeah,
And she's
And you
really,
feel like
she's
you're
really
in-
into the quantum realm stuff.
Yeah.
You'd think if she had a suit, she would have figured it out
Yeah.
on her own time. I don't think that's reasonable to assume that she just didn't know much about it, because, I mean, for the writers,
I don't think
that's
the
case.
I don't think there's any reason to make her not use it. You
Absolutely.
know, if you're in a dangerous situation, why would you not use every tool at your disposal?
Realistically, the only spot she could have used it is when they get sucked into the quantum realm before she actually uses it.
Yeah.
When does Captain America not use the shield?
All of Infinity War.
That doesn't count. That seriously doesn't count.
He's not wrong though.
It doesn't count. It doesn't count. That doesn't fucking count, and you know it.
Lawyered.
Technically, I gotcha.
If he has the shield,
Okay, there you go.
when does he not use it?
Whenever he uses the hammer.
Nope, he still uses the
He
shield.
still uses the shield. Yeah. Because what do you use with a shield? A weapon. What do you use with a weapon? A shield. And I never know why he doesn't have a weapon to begin with.
Because
the shield
he's
is
so
a-
goddamn strong, he just throws it around.
That doesn't.
The shield is
The shield is the weapon. You've never watched The Rising of the Shield
I think the
Hero.
person who wrote Captain America, this is off topic. I think the person who wrote Captain America didn't fully understand what shields were used for.
definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, oh, we're going to throw it. It's obviously a discus.
From the 40s.
Like Xena Warrior Princess.
They didn't have a whole lot of options. They were like, well, you can't give him a sword. It's too new for a sword. Give him something else.
The hammer, though, was okay.
Yeah. Hammer's cool.
Go on.
I don't know. I don't know how to defend Captain America.
You can't.
I don't like him.
Me neither.
There was times I've had this complaint before that there was too much action, and what I mean by that is so much is happening around, and they're trying to get you to focus on like Scott and Cassie running away.
I know
and everything's exploding.
I call it Michael Bay syndrome,
I mean,
where you can't tell what's happening because there's just so much shit going on the screen.
And
I
then
can't tell.
like not only that, the fights. There was just a lot going on that you try to keep up with, and they always have to have the big war. Like, it drives me insane that there has to be a gigantic war scene. I mean, ants attacking Kang was essentially a war scene.
that was cool though.
It was cool. I don't
Cybernetic ants.
I don't need it every
Super ants from the future.
goddamn future ants. Yeah. I just don't need giant fights every. I miss the good old days of. I just said I don't like Captain America,
just
but
trying-
Captain America and Bucky fighting.
It feels like they're always trying to relive the glory of Endgame.
Yeah.
You want a more intimate experience of
I do.
like a.
I want to see one person beat the shit out of you know what? Realistically, I liked watching the end fight between Goblin and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
There's two people beating the shit out of each other, and William Dafoe laughing like an animal. He's still my favorite Goblin.
Yeah, but it's just.
He's good.
Think about how much budget they would save if they didn't have to make these giant CG armies.
I know.
They could actually afford a good writer. Wouldn't that be great?
Okay, next up on my
Writers don't get paid a whole lot anyway, so
So, but they could afford
I would say
better
they could,
writing.
They could make like
They could-
better CGI for some of the shots.
yeah, that's true. There is some that are bad.
I haven't
Like,
noticed
fuck it.
any bad
I'm gonna-
CGI in Phase 4 at all.
I'm gonna skip to the next. I'm gonna skip one. What do you think of MODOK's looks? Speaking of bad CGI,
I honestly liked it.
I fucking hated it.
It's fine.
It was something
That's
about
not,
his.
That's not the bad CGI I was talking
I know,
about.
but it's
I
just
know
some-
they couldn't, but I still feel like they have the wrong actor for MODOK. He did a good job, but I think it should have been somebody else.
I mean, realistically, it didn't mean anything in the end.
I mean, MODOK's always been kind of like a fucking jokey villain anyway. So
But it should have been Patton Oswalt.
I mean, he does do like a lot of the voiceover for MODOK and
Yeah, and
anime
his
stuff.
face is perfect for it. So it's already kind of wide and
Yeah.
weird looking.
But
Okay, and then I'm gonna jump back one. Why haven't they or didn't they update Scott and Cassie's suits to have wings? Cassie specifically. That's what bothers me more than anything because hers was new. Give her some fucking wings. Scott, I get it's like, oh, you want to keep yours.
Ant-Man just never has had wings, so that's why.
That's fine.
They
I'm
won't.
okay with that. It makes
I
no
don't
sense
know
to me
if
if you have the capability to
Cassie ever
fly.
had
Why
wings.
would you not add that into your fucking suit?
It doesn't make sense. I think it's just having them wanting Wasp to have something different.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is, but
She's got to save the day.
it's a nitpicky thing for me.
She's got to save the day.
'Cause
when Scott can't.
You just give Scott wings, and guess what? He has no. Also, where was the fucking multiverse Scott that had wings? Or not? Or the split Scott? Obviously, there wouldn't be because it was just a bunch of Scott's personalities. That's just me being nitpicky, though.
Where was Alligator Scott? There's Alligator Loki.
It's literally just it's a him
Why-
for every choice he's making in that from that moment on.
You
Every
think
time-
he hasn't made a choice that turned him into an
No,
alligator
it's
at some
it's
point?
from the moment he goes in there. Every time he makes a choice, I don't know the.
It's not
best of-
multiversal
Yeah,
Scott.
yeah.
It's
It's just-
multi.
Choiceal. That's not a word.
Probability.
It's probability. The Baskin Robbins guys, they're literally just for a fucking joke.
Yeah.
Which was wonderful.
Yeah, but for
honestly.
almost everyone, it's just every time he tries to make a different choice, there's you make your branches, and every one of those makes two new Scots essentially.
Which I already kind of talked about this one, but do we think they're going to keep making these world-ending threats every fucking movie?
Yes,
It drives me insane.
They can't not.
I know they can't not, but it just
yeah.
God,
They can't go back to having like.
it's so hard to go back. It's just
Yeah.
it's really hard to go back to reset the stakes lower
Yeah.
and keep
Well,
people interested.
This is a problem in D&D as well. Whenever you have a campaign and it ends with you guys ending a world-ending threat, you start a new campaign
yeah.
because there's really nowhere to go from there.
I mean, that's understandable.
There's no up from there. It's all downhill.
I get it. Part of me just wants
Move on.
wants to move on and wants just one person to have a problem.
But
like,
but it's the way the comic book goes. Comic book series goes
Yeah.
as well. Like the whole span of the comic book series is they're dealing with individual problems themselves in their separate comic books, and then slowly it builds into them on their first world-ending problem each,
yeah.
and then they do Avengers, and then so on and so forth, and then they're just continually dealing with world-ending problems. Happens at DC, happens in Marvel, because they can't go back now.
Yeah, you can't put the genie back in the bottle once you.
And
It's hard.
That's a problem with
I-
expectation, because once they've dealt with, especially when you create the Avengers, once you've dealt with a world-ending issue, anything else that pops up that's small, you're sitting there thinking, where's Thor?
Yeah.
Why isn't the Bifrost shooting him down onto the ground and helping this other guy out who's having a hell of a time
Yeah.
fighting off this nobody?
Which is one of the reasons why comics works a little bit better, because then you go read the new Thor comic
Right.
and you see what the fuck he's dealing with. at
That's
the
why they
same
keep
exact
restarting
time. Yeah.
to certain areas, because they don't have anywhere else to go that's up.
Which maybe that's why Spider-Man's one of my favorite comic book characters.
Spider-Man is like literally the only one that
that just deals with
He was designed to be the little guy, like the
Spider-Man
hero.
and Batman. Which Batman even still goes and deals with world-ending threats from time to time, but it feels like he's constantly dealing with.
I'm looking
But
at
even then, you can look at it and say, "Where's Superman? Why isn't he helping him stop this?"
Well, because most of the
super
time he's just
terrorist?"
fighting a clown.
Yeah. I'm looking at the schedule. Marvel's that will have some sort of like galactic world-ending threat, probably that has to deal with fucking sword and something in Secret Invasion. Brave New World, which is they renamed Captain America for. It will have something to do with the leader. That'll be a world-ending threat of some sort.
Yeah.
Thunderbolts. That'll have a world-ending threat of some sort. Blade
Probably won't.
probably won't, but it'll be like
The Marvels.
Yeah, the Marvels.
Did you already say that?
Yeah, it's the first
Okay,
one. I
that's
said,
that
yeah.
one.
That'll it'll have something to do with sword and Secret Invasion with scrolls and some shit, I'm sure. And then Phase 6 is basically all just like the Avengers movies. So Deadpool 3, that'll have that would be like very tangentially related.
Yeah,
at,
that's
at the least.
It's
at
not
most.
going to have a world like.
I
I
but
doubt
that's
that
not
would-
about maintaining any sort of
Continuity.
expectation,
Yeah.
continuity. That's about having a good time.
which is why I like that. I
Fantastic.
love Deadpool.
4 might not.
Depends on which villain they pull
It
out.
depends on who they get. If we're going, which I don't think they'll go Galactus or
They should
Doom.
right off the bat.
If it's like Mole Man or something.
If it's Mole
That's not bad.
Man or Silver Surfer, it might not.
Even
be.
Silver Surfer though, like is like hinting towards something
yeah.
horrible.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay with hinting
Yeah.
to. I just don't need the giant.
And then your last two movies in the Phase 6 are the Avengers movies, which will obviously be some sort of
yeah,
giant
which
build-up movie.
it's not that I mind world-ending threats. It's that we beat the world-ending threat and then turn around, the world-ending threat's back. Mm-hmm. Beat the world-ending threat and then it's back, which I get. That's how comics are. It's just for movies, it feels repetitive at this point.
It is repetitive.
It is. I mean, it's repetitive no matter what. And then while I'm on the nitpicky scenes, this is more about movies in general. Every time they talk, I have to turn the fucking TV up to 40, and then action happens, I have to turn it down to 10.
I really thought they were going to be, like, there was supposed to be some sort of censorship regulation about this, like, 15 years ago. And they didn't put it through. They didn't get it through at all.
Surely we can make, like, some sort of AI robot that can just be, like...
just automate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
But no, there was seriously supposed to be a censorship regulation on volume control, because one of the major issues was, like, between watching a TV show and seeing a commercial. Like, the TV show would be at a normal volume, and you get to the commercial, and it's like, THX.
I remember, like, whenever I actually watched TV, which I don't hardly anymore, and Sam would be asleep on the couch, if a commercial would come on, it would wake her up because of how loud it was. And she's like, why do you have to have the TV so loud? I don't. It's at a perfectly fine volume for the show. Mm-hmm. But next up, do you think Kang is actually dead? Which we know it's I'm meaning Quantum Kang.
The Kang we deal with for this entire movie.
I think he's dead.
You think so?
Yeah.
Who fucking knows?
There's so many of them, it's hard to...
No, but if they want him to be alive, he'll be alive. That's how... Nobody... Is he dead? No, not really, probably.
And then, speaking of Kang being dead, do we think they're going to replace Jonathan Majors?
We'll see.
I think they will. I really do. I think they're going to try not to, but I think they're going to end up having to.
It really just depends.
Do you think they will, Ethan? Or no? You think
Why would they?
Because he's like not super, but he has like...
He's got a domestic violence case against, assault case against him.
Didn't stop anyone from using Ezra Miller.
Yeah, that's my big thing.
True too.
They're probably using The Flash as a litmus test of like, will this affect the box office?
And can we get Kevin Spacey back in here? I mean,
because let's be honest,
that's exactly the type of thing we're looking at.
Yeah, but
let's be honest.
They can just do anything they want.
Those higher ups don't give a shit that he hit that he allegedly.
Oh no, they don't
hit
care.
a woman.
They're like, as long as you can act, I don't give a fuck.
No, so if they're all caring, that's the bottom line, the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even though he probably won't get replaced.
If they end up having to recast him, it's very easy to do. He is in like literally the perfect character to be recast.
Yeah. So with that, who do we think should replace him if they do replace him?
Not Boyega.
Actually, I have a list of 5 people that should,
I know he's like a suggestion. I know
he's one of them.
I don't think he'll ever work for Disney again.
I hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't ever work again as an actor.
Well, I'm just saying, like, after how much like problems he had with him, I don't think he would ever work with Disney again.
That's kind of my problem with him. Is it just causes issues and then gets on social media and acts like a dick.
My pick would be like, it's a pick I had for if they ever ended up recasting T'Challa, would be like John David Washington.
He's good.
Yeah. Denzel's son. In Tenet, he's in
yeah, I know who he is.
Bunch of other stuff, but
David Tennant?
No, the movie Tenet.
So on that list, there was 5 different people. The one that stood out most to me was the guy that played Hawkman, Aldous Hodge. Isn't that his name?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He stuck out.
Also
as
cool.
Someone would be good.
He'd be good.
Until I watched White Men Can't Jump.
Oh, and you want what's his name?
Cinco Walls.
Yeah.
I don't recognize the name.
He looks like Jonathan Majors, honestly, a little bit.
I don't recognize him at all. I didn't watch that movie.
Well, I didn't figure you did because it's about sports ball. But he did very well at playing an angry person.
Yeah, but like, man, you need to have like real range to play.
You don't know that he doesn't.
I know. I'm just like, I just go with people that have like, I have watched and they have an element of range.
Yeah.
Which, to be honest, Jonathan Majors doesn't
have a lot.
Have the most range. He plays angry guy really well, going from Lovecraft Country to
beating the shit out of Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, and Creed 3 to this.
I actually didn't like Majors in this role at all. I thought the guy who played in Guardians, the The guy.
Oh.
What's his name?
I
I can't remember. The
it's really
name.
hard to pronounce. I don't know how to. It's like
What's the character's name?
the High Evolutionary.
The High Evolutionary from Guardians.
Sure,
I think he would have been good, but they just used him, so they can't use him now.
he's a gun guy. That's why.
Yeah.
He was on Peacemaker with him, and I guarantee you, Gunn was like, "Hey, be in Guardians 3, then I can,
I'm gonna.
He did a really good job.
Yeah.
I'm
He's
probably
really-
gonna butcher this name. But
that's why I didn't even try.
Chukwudi Iwuji.
Yeah, something like that.
It's CHUK.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
would have been good, but they
WDI.
just used him. I think he would have been a lot better at Kang. To be honest, they could have got somebody else for High Evolutionary. Would have been good,
I don't know.
but he would have made a better Kang than Majors. I don't think Majors did just a terrible job. It just
He's fine.
wasn't my favorite. I picked for it.
Wasn't who you'd pick.
It wasn't.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it wasn't Boyega, so I'm happy.
And then I know I mentioned the Infinity Stones thing. Do you guys believe in that theory?
I don't even know what theory you're talking
Oh,
about.
you don't know that. Okay, so you see people walking around. There's specifically 5, I think.
Oh, I'm not.
Yeah. That
6 Infinity Stones, but all
well,
right.
then maybe it's 6. I don't know. I tried to keep up with them, but you see them all the time. That one of them has like a purple head, green, like they have all the colors of the Infinity Stones, and people think that it's actually the Infinity Stones that Thanos destroyed because they're gone, reduced to atoms. Well,
Oh, that'd be
you're
interesting.
in the quantum realm.
That's interesting.
Yep. And you don't see like multiple of the purple. You see them multiple times, but you only see one purple at a time, one green, red. So
Wouldn't
people,
surprise me even if that was not what they meant to happen.
if that's what they said happened.
If they, at some point, needed the Infinity Stones back,
They go down to the quantum
Yeah.
realm and get them.
they're like, "Oh, there was that fan theory. Let's use that."
I mean, we already know that Kang has a lot of access to Infinity Stones.
Yeah.
Through the TVA, like they're just a dime a dozen apparently.
Well, there's been probably been so many times that people with the Infinity Stones broke the laws of the TVA and had to be brought in, and they
Well,
just
I
kept
mean,
the stones.
a lot of them just having.
And somehow Kang has some sort of control over the power of the Infinity Stones because they were apparently didn't have much function in the TVA.
I don't know. It's one of those. It's one of those things. Is that like just
Like
like
they just threw it in there
Yeah.
without any sort of premise.
yeah? Is it like a joke?
But I mean, now
Kind of is.
that it's in there, though, there's a premise.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of how that works.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if I can find the picture, but I can't. Fuck it. It's taking too long.
Is one of them fucking the telepath?
No.
No. Because I know his head glows, but did you mean like they're actual stones?
No, I mean, they look like actual stones. Like their head is literally just a stone
Oh.
that is purple. There's one that's a stone that's red. Like all the Infinity Stones. And then honorable actors and actresses. People that we thought did really, really good.
Paul Rudd.
Well, I mean, it's Paul Rudd, though. Also, speaking of Paul Rudd, this completely off topic, but I seen a clip of him yesterday talking about the Friends finale because he was in the Friends finale.
Yeah.
And he's like, it was just weird. And he said, all these people, like the main cast, because he was there with the main cast for the
can't-
final scene.
I can't remember why he's like Phoebe's boyfriend
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
can't remember. He's like a late addition to like.
Well, he's like Phoebe's boyfriend for a little while, then they break up.
Yeah.
He gets off the show, then he comes back. She
Yeah.
ends up with him. And he was like, yeah, he said, everybody was crying. And he said, people would be hugging. I'd just go up to him, hug him, and be like, man, what a ride, right, guys? And he wasn't there for most of the fucking show.
That's Paul Rudd.
And I was like, God damn it, I love you, Paul Rudd.
Yeah, I think Paul Rudd's really good. I mean, I like all the other Ant-Man movies.
The girl that played Cassie,
Catherine Newton.
yeah, I think she did well. Some of it was bland, but I mean, yeah, there's not really a whole lot. But I mean, Hank did great being a crotchety old man.
Yeah, I think I like Michael Douglas.
Yeah, Michael
Honest.
Douglas is he's always good. So
But I mean, besides that, it was cool seeing Bill Murray pop up.
that was he
Yeah.
did a pretty good job
Yeah.
though.
He did. It's
But
just
it wasn't
weird.
enough.
It's one of those like cameos that borders on like, is he playing
You're there.
another person, or is he playing Bill Murray?
He's playing Bill Murray. He always plays Bill
Yeah.
Murray
No,
at
he
this
doesn't.
point.
No, he
Not
doesn't.
always.
No, not always.
At this point.
Not in like Wes Anderson movies.
Yeah, but that's
He's
what I
always
was
playing a character.
like for most of it, it feels like he was playing Bill Murray until he gets to like the part where he betrays them.
But anything but Wes Anderson, he
like,
always plays Bill Murray. If you go back and like watch his 90s and 80s movies, yeah, he's always playing the Bill.
But
The Bill.
I don't know.
Other than that, I can't really think of anybody that stood out.
It's actually a relatively small cast.
Yeah.
For the main cast, yeah.
I mean, even like for like notable named characters, it's like there's like 12 people in this movie.
It's like the Ant-Mans, you know.
Yeah. You got those 5 majors.
And the one lady from Star Wars,
Oh, yeah.
the betrayal lady
Yeah.
that was in the useless episode.
Yeah.
Not useless, but
Filler episode.
yeah, it was a filler episode.
I'm so, there's hardly any named characters that are in this movie. It's kind of odd.
It is weird.
I'm assuming this has maybe it's because it was shot during COVID, maybe, but like
I can't remember the actor's name either, the MODOK. I think he did a really good job.
Corey Stoll.
I don't like MODOK.
I'm surprised.
MODOK's a dumb villain.
Sounds like it's right up your alley. And everything he said was like right up your alley. I'm surprised you don't like him.
Yeah,
You just decided not to like him.
I did
I
like.
think it's the looks. It's the look. I'm just like, meh.
I did like him and
I can't get
Cassie's
past, like it just looks
interactions of like
Yeah.
she's like it's the B man.
stretched. Yeah.
Like she doesn't know who he is. She just knows him as the B man.
When he went down, that was really funny. And he's like, I always wanted to go out an Avenger.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're an Avenger, buddy.
That was funny though. I'll give that one credit.
Like touching his face. That's really good. That's really classic Paul Rudd humor, though.
Yeah,
it's just really
it is.
awkward. And what's great about the Ant-Man movies, it's Paul Rudd without Seth Rogen, which is usually where he's at, is sucking on Seth Rogen's dick.
That's so true though. Except for the Ant-Man movies.
Except for the Ant-Man movies. Maybe they broke up.
Well, I feel like
I don't think they did.
It's because Paul Rudd's like a Judd Apatow guy, and Judd Apatow and
Yeah, that's true.
Seth Rogen have like worked together on a bunch of other stuff. But
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
All right. So, anything else we need to talk about?
Oh, did either of you get a large Star Wars feeling from like the first half of the movie where they're like going like with all like the weird alien designs and like showing up at Cantina? And I'm wondering if that was deliberate because there's a lot of like Kang using like his magical stopping thing powers, and like it's like, is this like a very like on the nose homage to like
Star Wars?
not even Star Wars, the new trilogy?
Maybe
Like he does the thing where he stops what Gentora's spear thing, and it's like it's like a shot for shot recreation of the first scene of Force Awakens where he stops
the
that
bolt.
It's like almost exactly the same shot.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I don't know.
Interesting.
Maybe Star Wars is a galaxy not so far away.
Maybe it's
just in the quantum.
Maybe it's just a quantum.
Yeah, it's just, God damn it. Everything's in the quantum verse.
I don't know. It was like I don't know if that's what they were going for or somewhere
It
halfway through the
definitely-
movie,
yeah.
and they were like, oh,
I kept waiting for Hank to shoot first.
Where is that part of the quantum realm at, though? Is it like on like George Lucas's taint?
see, here's the thing though. Canonically, these movies exist in the universe.
I know, and it's
So it's what makes it weird.
Yeah.
well,
At least the original
the
trilogy
original trilogy does.
exists because fucking Spider-Man references
seen it,
it
yeah.
in Civil War.
You know that really old movie where they trip the
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like meta weird, where I'm like,
It felt
It is-
weird.
I didn't
yeah.
hate it though. I like it's what made me like the first part of that movie.
I didn't think about it until
Because
you
It felt
said it.
familiar.
Yeah, it feels comfortable and
I
familiar.
see. I thought it was like it felt like somewhere between Star Wars and like how I always viewed the Underdark.
How I always
Well,
feel.
now like
From
how
D&D.
we're talking about it, that's exactly almost how like the Underdark works in my world.
I mean, yeah, that is because
just Star Wars?
No, it literally is.
It's like layers, right?
It's like layers. That is its own technically separate
Plane of existence.
Plane of existence
Yeah.
for stuff like
I liked that. By the
plane
way.
shift and banishment.
Yeah.
So you can get banished from the Underdark if
Gotcha.
you're not
If you're not from there,
from there.
if you're not a local,
Yeah.
If you're not, what are you doing in these waters?
They're taking our jobs.
I stole that from Matt Colville. He has a very similar thing where his Underdark is also a separate layer plane of existence.
What are you laughing at?
Why did you go to South Park?
Why not?
I often go to South Park.
Who doesn't though? It's a good show.
What about Hawk Park?
Hawk Park.
Fuck off. So now to the IMDb scores to see if we think they're accurate. IMDb's a 6.2 out of 10 with 139,008. That was, like I said, probably 3 weeks ago. So give me a second. I will look it up. I'm sure it's very similar.
Maybe like 6.1 or something.
It is 6.1 with 171 and
generally
844.
These types of movies, they just kind of like slowly like tick down over time. Like
the Metascore stayed the exact same though. 48 Metascore. Critics were not a fan.
I understand these movies aren't really for critics. It's like especially if a critic's not seen all the Marvel movies and doesn't enjoy them.
I feel like critics. I've said this before, but
Yeah.
critics aren't fans of movies.
Yeah.
Like
They're fans of directors.
yeah.
Yeah. And being like cringy cliche in your writing. Yeah.
But could you imagine like picking a random person off the street and trying to show them this movie, and they would probably be like lost as fuck.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah, they'd be like, oh.
It's not a great standalone movie.
No, it's not.
No. But they would be lost as fuck, but they probably would still enjoy it after they get past the initial.
It's an enjoyable movie.
Once you get to the quantum realm, it's not as much. Let's talk about old shit. Let's deal with what's going on right now.
If you go back to like the 80s and you start watching like sci-fi movies from the 80s, especially like the big ones, they don't do a lot of like explaining or exposition.
They didn't.
There's no backup. There's nothing to back it up. They're just like asking you to accept what's happening as
to go along with
reality in the story, right? Just to go along with it. And I think that works really well because Dune took off. Dune was really popular in the 80s.
Yeah.
And, you know, honestly, looking back at it now, there's, you know, obviously problems I don't like with it, but at the same time, I can enjoy it. I don't have to know everything about a story.
Star Wars did that.
Yeah.
Somebody went to George Lucas and was like, don't we need to like have somebody say, oh my God, it's Darth Vader? And he was like, no. It's a white background with a guy in a solid black suit and a red laser sword.
People will get it.
Yeah. They'll know he's the bad guy.
I mean, that's how so many of like great like sci-fi and fantasy books, like old school ones, classics like Lord of the Rings, like The Hobbit, doesn't do like hardly any explaining. It's one of the most enjoyable books rated wise throughout history.
Yeah. And then Rotten Tomatoes has an 83% audience score with 10,000 plus and a 46 tomato meter with 393 reviews now. So it went down a point from 3 weeks ago.
But I think we've come to expect more exposition and explanation out of movies.
Yeah. We have to.
People
don't.
I feel like as a general population, we've got dumber.
Yes, people don't have the attention span to pay
can't.
attention long enough to understand it.
Yeah. Can you imagine like kids like that are like 9, 10 now that like I don't think they have the attention span to like watch a 2.5 hour movie and like actually enjoy it. Like they'll watch it and be like, you know, get distracted within 15 minutes.
Encanto.
I mean, now hang on. I took Lucas to see. This was whenever No Way Home was in theaters. So how long ago was that?
2 years ago.
Was that 21?
End of 21. Yeah.
End of 21. Okay, so I took him then. He would have been
9 or 8.
8.
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah, he would have either just turned 8 or been 7, and that kid sat through that entire movie and paid attention perfectly.
Now, I think where I would differentiate on that is that I think that 9 or 10-year-olds, yes, I think they would be able to sit through and watch a movie. 17, 18, 19-year-olds,
that's where the
I think
once you get a phone, it's kind of like, oh.
Yeah.
I think it's different. I think, you know, they're really different from one another, just like we're different as millennials from...
Yeah, it's like the same age gap. It's like 10 years.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's like, it's the similar age gap. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gen Z.
Well, and like...
Gen Z sucks. Everyone hates
Well, they
them.
just don't have the attention span.
They hate themselves.
They do.
I don't know why.
And those kids that are like 9, 10, 11 will probably turn 15, 16 and lose their attention spans because they're going to get phones and it goes out the window.
It does.
I mean, fuck, it does for me too.
Yep.
They told us for so long that like ADHD was like genetic, but we know it's learned.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can actually learn that disorder.
Yeah, you can.
Yep. Hell, I mean, the amount of times that I used to have something on TV because I was on my computer and I was like, I need the background noise to do this. And then I would try to pay attention to both and not do anything.
Get really frustrated.
Yeah.
Like run back. Oh God, again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That will wrap everything up on this episode of Ant-Man. And Ethan didn't use any of his notes.
Oh, I was going to say something about the rewrites that happened.
Oh, yeah.
So originally, Kang was supposed to win. He was supposed to escape, and they were supposed to be trapped in the quantum realm. Oh. Doesn't that sound like a more compelling ending?
Yeah.
Like Scott doesn't win. He fails. It's like an Empire Strikes Back moment where he fails and the villain wins.
I would have liked that ending more.
And then they end up.
But apparently it didn't test well or something, and so they
changed it.
Which I think is I think it was a bad choice.
I do too.
They need to commit. Grow some balls.
The issue where they run into that is then, well, I mean, I guess they could figure out a way to get out somehow.
Well, see, like you can still keep literally what is the end of this movie, where Cassie still gets them out of the quantum realm.
Yeah,
but Kang escapes first. They don't stop Kang.
So they could do both.
They can do both.
Don't stop his ship, and then that makes
he gets out.
That
because I don't know. You know, they rewrote it.
Cut a good 20 minutes off the movie.
I don't know about that, but
from stopping the ship to the 20-minute fight they had, yeah.
No, I'm saying like at the end where him and Scott are fighting.
Oh, well, I was thinking of it as they never stopped his ship and he got out that way. That was how I was thinking of it.
No, you can't give him a whole army. You got to have him, because then it would just be like the next move would have to be like fucking Kang Dynasty.
Yeah.
You got to have him
it's already what
beat
they're
back
doing.
down to low level, so he has to take like a couple moves to build back up.
That's why you beat the shit out of Scott.
Yeah. But I just think it would have had a more interesting end.
Yeah.
People would have been like, oh, I remember that movie where Kang wins?
Yeah.
It would be a lot less confusing when they have to bring Kang back later.
Because at this point, why are people, I guess we're scared because there's a bajillion Kangs on the Council of Kangs that are going to ruin this, but like Scott and Hope and some ants beat one Kang.
That was supposed to be the worst Kang, because that's why they banished him.
Let's call up Thor and Captain Marvel and the Hulk. I feel like they can just, zippity
zap them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smoosh smash.
Yep. Especially the Hulk. I mean, that wouldn't take any time at all.
He'll fuck up some Kangs.
Yeah.
He'll fuck them up.
Just the way you said
I feel like they like lowered the threat level that he poses.
I mean, I can agree with that.
He's supposed to be like,
he's supposed to be the big bad.
well, a big bad, one of the big bads.
He's a god. He's a god tier big bad.
Yeah. He's kind of important.
Well, so was
Thanos.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like
I think they did a good job.
Appropriately made him like scary. We just seen him in glimpses a lot.
But what about Ego? Ego was supposed to be like a big time threat too, but he wasn't.
Yeah, but he's like a.
They kind of dealt with him in like one go.
Yeah, but that was about all we didn't need Ego around.
I don't want him in another movie.
He's not one. He's not one of. You got your big ones like Thanos.
He
Kang,
was dispatched very easily for his
Galacticus, and
but his power level was there.
That's
Doom. Those are like your four big like important villains. That
I mean I know that for the Avengers, that's the big important villains, but I don't know. It felt.
But on a scale of how powerful people are, Ego feels now wasted.
Yeah,
sure,
a little bit, not a whole lot, but. Anything else?
I think that was it.
I think that was it. They didn't rewrite. That's the only ending.
I'm sure that's the only important thing that I remember that happened in that the rewrites was that. But this is also coming from the guy who's going to write the Kang Dynasty.
Yeah.
Allegedly, maybe. He might get kicked off of it.
Allegedly, maybe.
Well, he might get kicked off of it. Who knows? Because it's of how poorly this movie did, both financially and critically.
It feels like movies just aren't doing as well.
I think that they're measuring. I think that movies today, for like their blockbuster stuff, whatever, I think that they're measuring them incorrectly. I don't think you can't measure it the same as you used to. It's not how much they make in the theater that counts anymore.
Yeah, it's how much they make at home.
It's you have to count like instead of counting that first 3 months, like. You have to count like the whole year after, like in theater and after it comes out, like you have to count the whole thing.
Yeah, but that's not what they care about. They care about that financial.
Well, they're stupid.
They're not. This is what happens when you get a bunch of number crunchers that run movie studios. They are all they care about is that
they're running the same number.
Yeah,
they're running the same equations.
Yeah, they want that immediate return on investment, which is the global box office.
Not how many people rent it.
They invest, $300 million between the budget and the marketing, and they're like, we want roughly three times that back. We want, $1 billion to $1.5 billion.
It just won't work like that.
Yeah. But that's what they're worried about.
The way people view movies now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so easy to watch a movie at your house.
Yeah,
why would you not?
Well, it's like Dish and DirecTV. Like they're not working off the same idea that people live with now. They're not expecting them to have the internet and want to watch it whenever they want. They do their on-demand thing, but you have to pay for every goddamn thing.
Yeah.
And so why would you ever get that instead of getting Paramount or just Max or whatever you want?
The only thing that TV has above certain things is they just have certain
I just think
channels.
Like live sports.
I just think
they have live sports. They have certain channels you can't find except for like one niche place, and it's the system that they have for it runs like shit. So it's easier to just say, I'll watch it on TV.
I mean,
I just think that they're in for a revamp on the way that they gauge in the next 5 years, probably. Yeah. And the way that they gauge the success of a movie. Yeah. I just don't think it's going to work out the same way as it used to.
Can you tell me what the highest grossing movie of last year was?
No. Because I don't care.
It was Top Gun Maverick.
That makes sense.
It made it stayed in theaters for like 6 months, first of all.
That's you have to do that anymore.
Insane amount of money. But
and I hate that.
It was like $1.5 billion or something like that.
Well, that's
and
good.
like Super Mario Brothers is probably going to be this year's highest grossing movie,
it's
unless Barbie.
I think it's the highest grossing animated movie.
Did it pass Frozen?
I think it did.
I don't know if it did.
I think I just seen that.
Good.
Literally, unless Barbie's good and is gets like a lot of good word of mouth and like has people besides your 10-year-old girls go and seeing it.
I can guarantee you that it won't make as much as Mario.
Yeah.
No, God, no.
No.
But I don't know of any other movie that's gonna make that much money. Like Indiana Jones did not open well this weekend, or this weekend.
I mean, you follow up Crystal Skull with the ancient Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
it's not going to work out well.
Fast and Furious 10, which usually have been like Universal's pretty well like box office success, didn't do well. Already on streaming within like a month and a half, did awful in the box office. So
there's reasons for that. It's not because the movie's bad or the series isn't as disliked anymore. It's because that's not the way people consume
media,
like cinema anymore. That's not what they do.
This is probably gonna be a real low year for the box office.
Total. Good. They need to change.
Unless there's some new movie that comes out that blows people's minds or something that makes them go watch it.
But there won't be.
I say that, but I also think we got a good chunk of Avatar 2 this year. That gets added onto that.
Yeah, but
so it probably actually is the highest grossing movie this year. But it came out last year, so I'm not.
I wish it wasn't.
Even though it earned 95% of its money this year, I'm counting it just 2022
because it came out.
It came out in 2022,
December 31st.
Same thing like last year. I think No Way Home made more money than Top Gun last year,
but because it came
out in December.
That makes sense.
I think the scores are correct. We were talking about that.
Yeah,
but I think that their rating for how much it's made is
stupid.
It's stupid.
I can agree with that. All right, so that will wrap up everything. Again.
Sorry,
tangents.
The third time.
That's only second time, I think.
I think it's third.
No, because I never said we'll wrap it up. Now it's the third.
He said, "Did we have anything else?" And I was like, not really."
Yeah.
Oh, here's this other 10-minute tangent.
Yeah. So we appreciate you guys listening. We hope you'll catch us on the next one. And if you want more of our content or to find more of us, you can join our Discord. Mm-hmm. You can join our Patreon where we have bloopers monthly. And if we ever get ads, it will also have the ad-free version on Patreon.
Maybe.
Eventually one day.
If we ever get ads. That's the main thing. Tell your friends. Tell your friends and your friends to listen to us. Now, Logan, because I know you listen to this, please don't message me, Jarrett, and Ethan, and tell us to listen to the podcast.
Oh boy, I can't wait for that. I can't wait for that message that will come in a month.
That's 100% going to happen in
Yeah.
2 weeks, bud.
2 weeks? All right. I'll prepare.
But you can join our Facebook, Instagram. We're on YouTube now. And I've actually been uploading some of the episodes. I've been trying to get more. It just takes time. And you can find links to all of that in the description. There's a link tree. You will have to copy and paste it, but you can find it there, and that'll wrap everything up for the 4th time.
Wow,
Thank
we're
you.
wrapping it pretty good today.
Wrap it tight.
Always wrap it.
Yeah,
Keep it tight.
yeah. Somebody ought to wrap it. You got 2 now.
I got 2. I'm getting cut.
Snip, snapped.
Snip, snap, son.
2 and done.
Bye.
Deuce.